twilight, these sisters discuss the paranormal and the unnerving. They are known as the ParaSisters.
What's up, guys? It's Rebecca.
And it's Tristan.
And we are the ParaSisters.
Yes, and this is Mochi.
Mochi. Mochi, baby. I like Mochi's collar. It's cute. I don't know if Mochi's a boy or a girl. I'm assuming a girl.
All my cats are females.
Oh, they're all girls. She had to even
the balance.
They're
all fixed, too. They're all fixed.
It was her and littlest Sassy were the only girls. So they had to get a bunch of girl cats. So yeah, I guess before we start, we should do our little thing where we say, make sure you subscribe and like and share. Make sure you share, because even if you don't like us that much, maybe you know somebody that does. The guy that thumbs downs us. Talking to you, buddy. Okay. Oh yeah, I feel like we never mention our podcast enough. Like,
I don't think so either. I always mention it when I post it, our shows. I always mention it on Instagram. So
I do too in the description of YouTube. Now let me say to you that they changed YouTube. So when I used to post videos, they would do an option where you could share the video with like Facebook and Twitter. So they've taken that option away. So now I have to, and I haven't done it, which is terrible, but you have to like manually go and share it with Facebook and Twitter and whatever, which is extremely annoying to me. So if anybody from YouTube's listening, please change that. Because I don't like it.
Yes, I don't either. That's weird.
It is weird. I don't like it. So, now that all that is out of the way, oh yeah, make sure you're following us on social media, because Tristan posts a lot of cool stuff. I'm not going to take credit because I do.
It's okay.
The most I do is share things from my personal Facebook with our social Facebook, and then you do whatever.
I usually reshare it. Yeah, I like it. I comment. I reshare.
That's not me. Okay. I'm very lazy when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, well, I just have like an extra second now and then. You guys definitely, our Instagram page is growing. We have almost 230 followers now.
What? Yes.
Yeah, we have some very cool ones. We have Paranormal Magazine is following us.
That's freaking awesome. What's up, Paranormal Magazine?
Yes. And of course, we have all of our original followers, you know, who have very good YouTube channels. You guys should check them out too. I can't think of their names right now. That's
well, awful. They can check it out on Instagram and see who follows us, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh, Adventures with Nubs, which is really good. Raw Edge Paranormal. I love her stuff. She does all these abandoned houses.
She's cracks so me up how crazy she is.
I know, just abandoned houses.
Yes, I wish I was as brave as her. So
me too.
What's up, Raw Edge Paranormal? We are big fans.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and we still haven't gotten any feedback, I don't think, about like video length and things like that. And I think there was an idea we talked about before, so maybe we'll talk about that some more, where we're gonna maybe change up our videos a little bit and bring you some different stuff every once in a while. We'll see what's up, though.
Yes.
But today, well, tonight,
hair.
It's 7. That's why I hate pets. Like, I love animals, but I hate hair. I've discovered this after being around a dog. I don't even know whose dog it was. I can't remember. Oh, we were babysitting some dogs, and the dog hair was all over me, and I couldn't handle it. So I need a dog that doesn't shed. But I love all animals, like literally. Anywho, back to our subject at hand. I don't know that this one's going to be particularly long, because there's not a lot of history, quote unquote, about this, because it's not a place, it's a thing, and it is called a white lady or a lady in white.
Yes, I love those.
So I have to admit that I was in New Mexico and I watched Supernatural for the very first time. And the very first episode is about a lady in white, and it, like, I was so intrigued by this because I think a lot of their stuff that they talk about on there comes from some kind of
Is
like, yeah, like some kind of like real, quote unquote real.
it is real. Okay, so when I do my research, when I do the lores,
Yes,
because I love lore.
me too.
I think the reason why I love lore is because I started watching Supernatural 15 years ago. When it first started to come out, when it first came out, the very first season on, I haven't watched the 15th season, so no spoilers in the comments, please. But I started watching it 15 years ago and it intrigued me so much with the lore.
Yes.
So I started doing more research on the lore, and they are extremely accurate with the lore.
So I found that out while researching the Lady in White, or White Lady. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it. We'll see what goes. But yeah, I was like, a lot of the stuff that they talk about in that show, and then there was some stuff that they didn't talk about. So I was like, interesting. So yeah, I've
Yes,
never watched Supernatural before.
I
And
love
my
it.
my friend Elizabeth in New Mexico, I don't know that she'll watch this, but she's like, "Let's watch Supernatural," and I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And she's apparently watched all of it, and she loves it. She's obsessed. So,
Me too. Me and Middle Sassy are extremely obsessed with it. We love it.
is that middle boy like older middle or younger
Hey,
middle?
tech guy Dylan.
Uh, Tech sassy.
Tech Sassy. Sassy tech guy. Tech guy
Absolutely.
Sassy.
All right. So, a white lady is a type of female ghost. Sorry, there's kids running outside my window. It's very distracting. So this ghost is typically dressed in a white dress or similar, and is reportedly seen in rural areas, and it's associated with local legends of tragedy, which is kind of sad. So, white lady legends are all across the world. You can find them in almost any country. You can find a legend of the white lady. And so, common in a lot of these legends are accidental death, murder, or suicide. And the theme is almost always there's a loss of some sort. And also, betrayal of a husband or fiance, and maybe even like an unrequited love. So you're in love with someone, but they hate your guts. This might cause this might cause a white lady to show up. I don't know. So in popular medieval legend, which I'm obsessed with medieval times, so I feel like if people in medieval times have legends of the white lady or a lady in white, I think that's awesome. I just do.
I do too. I think that's awesome too. Especially because the legend goes back so far.
Yeah, it's like so old. It's hundreds and hundreds of years. This legend has been just circumventing the whole globe. It's crazy.
I
So
like it.
in medieval legend, the white lady is fabled to appear by day and as well as night in a house in which a family member is soon to die. They also appear within photos just before or after death, which really freaks me out.
Yeah.
I don't like that. And according to the Nuttall Encyclopedia, which I don't know what that is, and I might have to look it up, these spirits are thought of as ghosts of deceased ancestors. So I don't know that, because this is medieval legend compared to, I don't know what legend it is where it's like, something like accidental death or murder or suicide. That's a little different, I think, than like your deceased ancestors. But
Right. Right. Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I never heard of that legend.
Well, yeah, and I mean, that's medieval, so Which actually, it doesn't, now that I just said that again and I'm thinking about photos, I'm like, that doesn't even make sense, obviously, because photos didn't exist in medieval times.
They showed up in paintings and tapestries.
Yeah, so tapestries taking years to complete, and then you're done, and you're like, who's this bitch? How'd that get in?
Right?
You sewed that, bah. Oh, goodness. I don't know.
Okay. I don't either.
I'm just reading what the thing says. That's all I know. Okay.
They may have some of their information skewed, I believe.
Well, I wonder if they're saying like, so it started in medieval times when they thought it was like an ancestor or maybe like a portents of death, and then it evolved where maybe they're seeing these photos and they're interpreting things as, I don't know, their ancestors. I don't know.
Okay, I get it now.
People do and think weird shit. Okay, that's all I do now.
They really do.
Yes. So a little disclaimer, I'm going to be reading about some foreign countries, and we all know that my pronunciation of foreign languages are not very good, so sorry. And we're going to start with Brazil.
Nice.
So in Brazil, the lady is called the Dama Branca, and that's basically the Brazilian lady in white. And the legend of Brazil is this is a ghost of a young woman who died in childbirth or a violent cause. It's obviously unnatural. And according to legend, she appears as a pale woman in a long white dress or a sleeping gown. And although she's usually speechless, sometimes she occasionally will recount her misfortunes to certain people. The origins of this myth are not clear, but Luis de Camara, who apparently is part of this Brazilian folklore dictionary, kind of proposes that the ghost is related to the violent deaths of young white women who were murdered by their fathers or husbands in honor killings. And of course, we've all heard of an honor killing before. And of course, in Brazil, apparently the most frequent reasons for honor killings are adultery, which could be actual or suspected. And I think, did I say husbands, fathers, or husbands do honor killings? I can't remember. It's fathers or husbands because that's important to the next sentence. So it's either adultery, denial of sex, or abuse. And I just have to say that it's a crazy reason to kill someone because they wouldn't have sex with you.
I agree. I think that's going a little far.
I mean, just a smidgen. So Monteiro Lobato, in his book, which is called Euripes. Now, I want to say really quick, this Monteiro guy writes children's stories, apparently. That's what he's most famous for. I am assuming that this is not a children's book because it's very creepy, what I'm about to read. So he writes a book, and he describes a young woman who is eventually starved to death by her husband because he suspects that she's in love with someone else who happens to be a slave, a black slave. And apparently she dies eventually, but until then, the only food he was willing to give her was stewed meat of her lover's corpse.
Oh. Oh. That's a horrid children's book.
I don't think it's I hope to God that is not a children's book.
That's horrid.
It's scary beyond belief.
That is scary beyond belief. That's absolutely awful.
So, and I'm assuming that's a story. I don't think that that's actually true, but
I freaking hope not.
Oh gosh. Yeah, they're weird in Brazil apparently. Sorry, no offense to Brazilians out there.
No. They're very beautiful people.
they're so tan, but like I don't know, it's strange, right? They're just weird looking. Not weird looking, but like I don't know, they look unlike any other people
Right.
in the
They're
whole world.
extremely beautiful. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
right.
is weird. Like they're all extremely beautiful.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, um, so this is gonna go like pretty much from country to country. I don't know if I told you that either.
Okay.
So that was Brazil. I think this is the Netherlands. I didn't write it down for some reason. So Berliner Schloss in 1625. Sightings were oh, sorry, I didn't read the first paragraph or the first sentence. I'm just like talking. Okay, a white lady was first reported to be seen in the Berliner Schloss, which I think is a castle in the Netherlands. And this is in 1625, and these sightings are reported all the way up until 1790. So this castle was or is the residence of the kings of Prussia, and so the lady in white is linked to several historical figures. So one of them is the guilt-ridden countess. Oh, good lord, I don't know this. It's Cunigunda of Orlamunde.
Dang.
Yeah, who was born in Ladgraven of Lichtenberg. And apparently, according to legend, she murdered her two children because she believed they stood in the way of her marriage to Albert of Nuremberg. And so she's one that they think is the White Lady of this castle. Another one is the unfortunate widow Bertha of Rosenberg from Bohemia, overthrown by the heathen. I hate words that I can't pronounce. Like seriously, it's Perchata. And so there's a legend of the White Lady who was the prince's wife in the town of Rita Winbrook, Westphalia. The prince was away fighting the 30 Years' War, and his wife, of course, took a lover who was a wandering minstrel, which is weird to me. But the prince returned unexpectedly, caught the two lovers. He drowns the minstrel in the moat, and then he took his wife, encases her behind a wall in the manor with some food and water. And apparently this is, in his mind, keeps her from cheating on him. But he leaves to go back to the fighting and ends up dying. So his wife is now locked in the wall, and she's now run out of food and water and ends up dying. So now her spirit apparently is seen and heard in the manor. So when the manor was renovated, the new owners and his builders tear down the wall in which she apparently was interred. And so the next day, the worker who tore down the wall was working on the roof of the manor. He falls, breaks his neck, and dies.
Oh, that's awful.
It is
so this
awful.
This is like recent history then.
Yeah, I think it's fairly recent. Yeah, it doesn't give dates of like when they were renovating. Obviously this is like fairly newer. Like
Right. Well, because it's the current owner.
right, yeah. So
Oh, damn. So this is like they found a body in the wall.
yes, and then the guy dies. Like how
That's
messed up. And obviously he's cursed from the White Lady. It's
gosh
crazy.
dang.
Yes. And I guess I didn't really realize that a lot of these don't have like actual accounts of sightings of the White Lady. This is just the legend,
lore of it.
the lore of the world of the White Lady.
Okay.
Which I mean, I recommend watching the first episode of Supernatural, definitely, because it freaked the shit out of me. And I'm glad the second one wasn't scary at all.
I've seen that episode like I'm not even joking, probably like 18 times, and it still scares me, and I know exactly what's going to
It's
happen.
so freaky. I don't know why it's so freaky. Like, I don't even know.
I've watched that whole series like 5 or 6 times now.
That's hilarious. It's crazy that I've never even seen it, so I don't know.
Well, every time a new season comes out after like season, I don't know, maybe 8,
Yeah.
every time a new season comes out, we watch the whole thing over again
Oh,
from the
yeah.
very beginning.
I guess that's a good thing to do. I do that with other stuff too, so.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Um, sorry again with the words. Vrauven invit. So this is the White Viven, white wive, I think is what it is. And this is what they're called in local dialects. I think I'm on Germany, or I could still be in the Netherlands. I really should have written down which country we're going to next. I'm terrible. Okay. So these are mythical creatures is more of what the White Lady is. And they... Okay, the Lower Saxon origin. So they're mythical creatures of Lower Saxon origin. And most known in the eastern northern parts of the... Okay, we're still in the Netherlands. Sorry. I should have read through this before I started. Okay, sometimes referred to as white maidens is what I'm going to say, because I'm not going to try to speak whatever the hell they speak in Netherlands. Dutch? Do they speak Dutch in the Netherlands? They can have both.
I honestly don't know.
I don't know either. Benevolent as well as malevolent natures. So often related or like kind of whatever with witches or ghosts, they show, apparently they have many similarities to banshees, fairies, and elves. So as malevolent beings, they abduct or switch newborns, they abduct women, and they punish people who have treated them badly. Now, I don't know if this is in the afterlife or before their death. I don't know. I guess before, because how are you going to treat a ghost poorly? I don't know. As benevolent beings, they actually might go so far as to aid in childbirth or offer good advice, which I wish that I wish it was more detailed and specific, because how is it like you're listening to a ghost's advice? Is that what's going on? Or is it like they're like,
I don't know.
hey, you should buy that lottery ticket? I guess I probably would, but
But okay, so I've actually read a few things about White Wyvern.
yes.
So they're not actually dead.
What are they?
They're more along the lines of like kelpies.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess that
So
would make
they
sense why they could be benevolent or malevolent.
right. Or like the Fae, or they're along those lines.
Oh, okay, so that's why they also equate them with like fairies or elves or.
Right, yeah. So White Wyvern are not, they're not dead.
Although it does say banshees, which I've always assumed that banshees are not nice or good. So.
Well, they're not. And it depends on what country you're in, whether banshees are alive or dead. Honestly, it just depends on where in the world you're at. Because some banshees are dead and they're like revenge seeking spirits who come back,
Right.
specifically women spirits who come back. And in some lore, they're still alive. They're now evil from the revenge that they're seeking.
Ooh, oh, that kind of makes sense. Okay, because yeah, the rest of my paragraph does say that these are, um, if you get into like Germanic word origins, they really it translates into like wise woman, and they're connected with the vulva, which apparently are like seers in like Germany and the Netherlands and things like that. So,
Okay.
um, and apparently these white wyverns are believed to dwell in the Hoenbedden and on the moors. I don't know what the Hoenbedden is. And they come across as white wisps of mist and fog. And that's what the white wyvern are there. It could be different other places. I don't know. But So there is a story out of a forest that I'm not going to try to name, um, where this is a home to another white lady, and this is based on archival evidence, which suggests that the forest was a home to a castle in the 1300s, like late 1300s. In the 17th century, it was burned down, which kills the daughter of the Lord, Lambert Reynard. And apparently, from this historical event, it has actually spawned variations on the White Lady ghost story, based around the death of a woman who burns on the castle farm. And the most common versions of the tale involve the woman having two fighting lovers, or the site being burned on her wedding day by a jealous nobleman. Either way, all versions claim that she now wanders the forest as a ghost in a long white dress. Some say she will only appear after midnight, and others say she only appears on nights of a full moon. I would really like to see this, I gotta be honest.
I agree. That would be awesome.
Yes. So this site is actually a protected cultural historical site. So just the fact that it was like real events happened there that could have led to, I mean, I couldn't imagine my house being burned down by a jealous nobleman, but
Right. On your wedding day.
yeah, on your wedding day of all days, right? So I think it's weird because that's a common theme that I've read with the White Lady, is that she's in a white dress because either it was her wedding day, or she was buried in a white dress. Like there's always like something that they're trying to explain with the white dress.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, I don't know. It makes sense for the Netherlands. So like the White Wyven,
Mm-hmm.
they were like brides or something, you know?
Yeah, that kind of does make sense actually. So we're gonna go to the Philippines, and I'm always interested when other cultures, like it's cross cultured, you know what I mean? So like the culture of like Europe is very different than the culture of like,
That aren't like Anglo-Saxon.
yeah, so like the Philippines is obviously very, very different from the Netherlands or Germany, or, you know. So, white ladies, now these were actually white ladies, and they're indigenously known as the Caparosa. And this is a extremely popular ghost story in the Philippines. So, white ladies are often used to convey horror and mystery, which I don't know why you'd want your young children, because this is for storytelling, to experience horror. But apparently, white sightings of the White Lady are extremely common around the entire country. And the most prominent one is the White Lady of Ballet Drive in Quezon City. So it is said that this is a ghost of a long-haired woman in a white dress who, according to legend, died in a car accident while driving along the Ballet Drive, or highway, or whatever they call it. Most of the stories about her are told by taxi drivers, and taxi drivers that work at night. So apparently, the taxi drivers are driving their taxis down Ballet Drive, and a very beautiful woman is standing on the side of the road, like hailing the taxi, waiting for a ride. So, what does the cabbie do? He pulls over because she's beautiful. I'm sure that's one reason. And he picks her up, and he's driving her. Well, apparently he looks behind him, and all of a sudden this beautiful woman's face is full of blood and bruises, which apparently has caused more than one, I think, taxi driver to abandon his taxi in terror. So he just gets out and he's like, He's like, I'm
That
done.
is scary.
It's creepy, right? Like, just to like so in other instances, it's like said that when solitary people drive on that street in early morning, they briefly see the face of a white-clad woman in their rearview mirror before she quickly appears. And actually, several accidents are attributed to the apparition of the white lady. So they see her in their mirror, and they obviously wreck their cars or whatever.
Oh, how scary. Can you imagine looking at your mirror and there's like a face of somebody in your mirror?
No, I can't. That would truly freak me the F out. I'd be like, I'm
Not even
done.
joking.
Yeah, I would
Yep.
avoid that road probably.
Me
Honestly.
too. Me too. There's a lot of roads in the United States that I would avoid.
Dude, so I may talk about it, but there apparently is a road here in Colorado, and they're like, it is the most haunted place in the entire state. The road itself. Which is
Really?
crazy to me because I'm like, how can a road be haunted? But we've all heard those stories of like, oh, that bridge had a
Right.
school bus wreck off of it. So if you park your car, what was that noise? Oh my gosh. I thought I heard whispering in the microphone. I was like, I'm
No,
done.
that might have been Sassy. He's in his game room and it was kind of loud here, but it may have sounded like a whisper in the microphone.
Yeah, it sounded like, I know. It's like, it's very scary. But no, it makes sense. Okay. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, if you park your car on the bridge and the kids will push you across, but
Right, yeah.
I don't know, it sounds weird to me.
But I'm gonna try to avoid those roads anyway, just in case. You know?
Most definitely, certainly at night. I mean, if it was
I
daytime,
mean, because they
I
might
might
just,
stop and try to do a little something,
I don't
something.
know. I mean, they may just be urban legends, but urban legends a lot of times come from actual factual things that have happened.
Yes, I mean, I think we've all seen the movie Urban Legends, right? Well, I did once upon
I,
a time.
well, I actually started watching it a few weeks ago, but I wasn't that interesting,
No, it's
so I
really
turned it
lame.
off.
It's super
It is kind of
lame.
lame.
I watched it when it first came out, and that movie's so old. That thing's like, it's like 15 years old or something like that. Like, it's very old to this point.
Yes, it is pretty lame.
Of course, now I'm making myself feel old. Um, Anywho, so now we're gonna go back and talk about England, and the number actually freaks me out because apparently there are 13 tales within England um, that suggest pretty roundly that the White Lady may be a victim of murder or suicide who died before she could tell, and this is obviously specific, but in legend, she apparently is trying to tell people where a hidden treasure is, but she dies before she's able to. So around 2019, they don't say when, the castle of Blenkinsop, that's a weird name, in Northumberland was occupied by a family. One night, apparently they have kids, I don't know how many, but one night the parents of the family woke up to their boy screaming, "The White Lady!" And so by the time they get to his room and his bedside, nobody's there. But the boy reported that the lady had been angry and tried to take him away after he refused to accompany her to a box of gold buried in vaults below. And apparently she told the boy that she could not rest while the gold was in the vault. Apparently this happened 3 nights in a row. And then the boy, I don't know how old he is, but he finally says, I'm done, and starts sleeping with his parents. And apparently the White Lady never visited him after that. So it was only when he was alone she would go in his room.
Hmm.
But apparently he was just so terrified that he wouldn't even walk in the halls by himself because he was so afraid of seeing her.
How scary.
Yeah,
Did they look for the treasure?
I mean, it doesn't say because
I would have.
Yeah, in a freaking heartbeat.
Where is this place?
I'd be
It
like,
wouldn't have taken me 3 nights.
hey, white lady, where? Show me. Come on, let's go. Of course, I'd be
Yeah, it would have.
afraid that she's gonna lead you into disaster of some sort. But
Well, in your own house.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. It's very weird.
Dude, I would look. I would seriously look.
I would also look. I would have to. It would be like gnawing on my mind. It'd be like, white lady, treasure. Okay.
Gold.
Yeah,
There's gold.
I'm going for
Told me
it.
3 times. She's told me 3 times now. I'm gonna have to go look for this.
Yeah.
I don't even think it would have taken me 3 times. Like maybe 2, because the first time I'd have been like, I'm sleeping. Leave me alone."
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna get up and follow you, crazy bitch. Get out of here.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not gonna discount maybe the first time. I probably would be like, just leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. And so apparently, so when I did Lep Castle, you remember I was talking about the lady in red. Well, apparently the lady in red and the white lady are almost identical legends. So
Oh, okay.
the lady in red has died almost always of murder. Something terrible happened to her. But apparently, there's also the brown lady. And the brown lady, and I absolutely am obsessed, and I actually want to do a show on Rainham Hall in England. And because I'm obsessed with it, I don't know why. But in Rainham Hall, it's the brown lady, and she is thought to be the ghost of Lady Dorothy Walpole. And she was the sister of the first minister of Great Britain, and she was the wife of Charles Townshend. And Charles Townshend was a British politician and
I've heard of him. Yes.
architect, and he pretty much did the entire Townshend Act, which of course spurred the American Revolution. He was a taxer. He was a tariffer. But apparently Townshend had a notorious temper, and it may have led Dorothy into the arms of another man, which apparently was a dangerous choice, as legend has it, because her husband, of course, discovers the affair. He locks Dorothy in her room, and apparently this is where her spirit remains to this very day. And she likes to terrorize guests visiting the hall, which it's a huge tourist attraction, of course. But I've actually, like I said, thought about doing a whole episode on Rainham Hall because it's very, very haunted, apparently. And the brown lady is one of the ghosts that haunts Rainham Hall. So in 1836, a guest of Rainham Hall by the name of Captain Frederick Marriott, and he's apparently the author of a series of maritime novels, which I would know nothing about. He apparently claims that he shot the ghost right in her face. Sorry, it's too funny. It is too funny. But of course...
Did he expect her to die?
So, I guess that's... I'm on the fence about this, because if you are somebody and you shoot at somebody in the face, you think they're an intruder, I'm assuming, otherwise you're just a crazy lunatic.
Right.
Or you... I don't even know. You don't realize it's a ghost, and you try to shoot her in the face. And I actually have to wonder if she got upset with him, or it doesn't even say what happened after that. It's just that he says he shot her in the face.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, God. Apparently, though, she disappears, and that's it. I don't know if up until this point, but apparently in 1939, I might have to try to find this. There's a photograph that was published in Country Life magazine, which depicts the shadowy white-clad figure at the foot of the stairs of Rainham Hall. So I have to now look for that photo so I can post it with our video, because I'm very interested to see. So kind of what I talked about before, the evil seductress, I can't even say seductress stories are evident in the Lady in Red myth, and so they associate these with sex workers in life, and apparently in death they like to dress in their favorite hue, which was red. And in a lot of the legends, the Lady in Red is killed by a jealous lover or his wife. And sometimes it's crazy that they say this, because like Lep Castle, the ghost appears holding a knife, which is symbolic of her having committed suicide or, of course, murdered. I don't know.
It's very creepy.
It's so creepy, right? So as an undead being, the Lady in Red continues to favor the color and wanders through hotel rooms or, rooms, and apparently she whispers in men's ears as they sleep. Or sometimes she'll leave pearls from a necklace her lover broke on the nightstand. And so a real life Lady in Red is said to be the ghost of Janine Pearl Cox, a socialite, which it says a common euphemism for loose woman, but I don't think that's really true.
I don't think so either.
No, a socialite is, but I wonder if they're talking about Janine Pearl Cox, if that's the euphemism for.
And they're like, she was a socialite.
Yeah, she's social. She was very social. But apparently in 1940s Vancouver is when this tale comes from. So in 1944, she dies in a car accident. Her ghost is then seen floating around the Fairmont Hotel in Vancouver, and apparently this has happened as recent as 2017, when a local named Scott Graham claims to have captured her likeness on film. So I guess that's another thing I'm going to have to look for, because I love ghost pictures. And so
Me too.
If we could have some, that'd be awesome. So but in general, ladies in red are not really violent ghosts. Most myths kind of suggest that they seek vengeance, but they don't necessarily get vengeance, and they attribute this because their history of troublemaking, like they're whores, so they're automatically troublemakers, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know either.
So now we're going to go to the United States, and there are a lot of tales of the White Lady in the United States. Okay, so that was Rochester. So the White Lady, the Lady in White, or the White Lady of Avenel is the most commonly reported apparition at Avenel, which is in Bedford, Virginia. And this apparition is thought to be Mary Frances Burwell of the Burwell family of Virginia. They say this like I know who that is, but I don't. The legend says that she apparently stayed on her front porch waiting for her husband to come home from the Civil War, and he never did. So I think that she killed herself, which is awful. And so now she apparently haunts Avenel. I don't know where that is. I'm gonna have to look that up. They're making it sound like it's a house or something, but I'm not really sure. And this comes, I don't know. It's just some guy named Adam Stupin, and he's the founder of Southwest Virginia Ghost Hunters. And I guess he's been in contact with her, that he knows this story. I don't really know what he's claiming is happening here, other than she apparently is still waiting for her husband to come back from the Civil War.
That's really sad, though.
It's so super sad. I'm like, I feel bad for her, but
a lot of these stories have really, tragic stories attached to them.
Well, and I think that's like the theme of the White Lady, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe if something really tragic happens to you, you turn into a white lady.
At the end, if you don't cover it, I have my own White Lady story. Not a
Yes.
personal experience, but another lore of the White Lady. If you don't cover it.
On a side note, do you think that the lady that you saw on your drive or next to your driveway was a white lady?
So, um, a, in this area that I live in, because it is the Wild West, a
Yes.
lot of things, there was like a wagon trail that had gone through this area quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it could be, and maybe I'll have to do some research. But they didn't keep very good records
Oh, yeah.
back
Of
then
course not.
about like, especially if they were traveling, so I don't know. But it very well could be something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, because she was wearing white.
It was a white lady. You saw
It was a
her.
white
Good thing you
lady.
weren't a man. Because apparently they don't like men.
Well, no, I mean, if you'd been killed or tortured or killed yourself because of them, I mean, I would assume not.
Let me look for a really good one really quick. Because a lot of these are just like, there's so many places that have them. Like, this doesn't even have a place. It's just like the ghostly Sphinx of Metaconch, which I don't know where that is. Her lover was
Right.
drowned in 1815, and now she's apparently holding a grudge. The Union Cemetery in Connecticut has sightings of the White Lady since the 40s. Talamato Cemetery in St. Augustine, Florida, has been home to
Ooh.
stories of a haunting by a lady in white since the 19th century. This legend says that the ghost is the spirit of a young woman who died suddenly on her way to be married and who was buried in her wedding dress, of course. Of course, we have Mucalito, Washington, where apparently there's many alleged reports of a lady in white vanishing hitchhiker, which is just off of Clearview Drive in the forest near the tree line. I think that's pretty
Scary
common
shit.
too. Like driving down the road, see a hitchhiker, look again, and she's gone. That's crazy.
Right.
So this one I've actually heard of, but I don't know that much about it, and I should have put it in here. Resurrection Mary of Chicago. They're saying she's a white lady, and also it's the vanishing hitchhiker type. Madisonville, Louisiana. There's a legend about a woman called the Silk Lady, and she's said to haunt the Palmetto Flats by Highway 22. And apparently, this story goes back to the mid 1800s. There's a lady who's riding back from town after seeing her lover off. She's riding down an old logging trail when a snake spooks her horse. She falls, she hits her head, and dies. And apparently, several people have reported her as a woman dressed in a wispy, silky dress, and that her feet never touch the ground. And apparently, when she sees people, she is said to cackle like a banshee.
Ooh. Ooh.
Antaluna, Pennsylvania. The White Lady of Whoopsie. Sorry.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. Maybe it's Wopsy. Wopsy. That's not better, right? Um,
Oh. Oops. Oops.
Whoopsie. And her ghost is said to haunt the Wapsananock Mountain and Buckhorn Mountain in the western part of Altoona. It's said that she and her husband had an ill-fated crash over what's known as Devil's Elbow. As you head into the city itself, where both of them apparently tumble over the side of the mountain. And according to legend, she is seen looking for her husband on foggy nights, has been picked up as a hitchhiker, and her reflection is not seen in the mirror, but she always disappears as soon as they round Devil's Elbow.
How
So
creepy.
the mirror thing really freaks me out. Like,
Yeah. And you know what? This is just a good lesson. Don't pick up hitchhikers.
duh, especially crazy ladies in white dresses. Don't do it
Right.
in the middle of the night. Okay.
Right. Don't. Don't do it.
So Yermo, California, at the Calico Ghost Town, author Lauren Morgan Richards is said to have seen the ghost of a white lady up close while it roamed the outskirts of town, and he wrote about it in detail in his book, Welsh in the Old West. I might have to look that book up, actually. Fremont, California, there's a white lady called the White Witch, and this is sightings happen in Niles Canyon. A woman named Lowry was one of the first people in the area killed in an automobile accident, and people claim to have seen her in a cemetery in the area with strange lights, and the local legend says you can see her walking the ridge between the Niles Hollywood style sign and the canyon. Oh, I see.
Ooh.
Yeah. I see what they mean,
No.
though. The Niles Hollywood style. So it must just say Niles. I don't know. Hattiesburg, Mississippi. A woman in white is connected with the history of Burnt Bridge Road. So in the 70s, a woman is killed in a car accident while crossing a wooden bridge over a small gully. Apparently there was a fire which destroys the bridge, and it was later rebuilt in concrete. This is not even perfect. Dallas, Texas. White Rock Lake Park. It's reported that a ghost of a 20-year-old looking girl known as the Lady of White Rock Lake, and she's described as wearing a water-soaked 1930s evening dress, and she usually appears at night along the roadside of East Lother Drive, and witnesses claim the phantom asked to be taken to her home on Gaston Avenue in Dallas before disappearing in the car during the ride and leaving behind a waterlogged seat.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. That actually is most like the supernatural, I think, because how she's like, take me
Yes.
home.
Right.
Take me home. So the legend claims that this woman is a drowning victim from a boat accident in the 1930s, and reports of the ghostly encounters apparently were published in a newspaper in the 1960s, so people like really believe that that's true. So there's one more little story, and it is the Golden Gate Park, which is in California, obviously. So more than 100 years ago, a woman appears glowing in a white dress, and apparently she is searching for her baby. And the legend goes that this woman and her baby were either on a boat or something, and her baby drowns. And she tries her hardest to find the baby or save the baby, and she never can. So now she continues to haunt the lake, looking and crying out for her lost baby. And this is, like I said, 100-year-old story. So this goes back quite a ways where people are seeing this, and it's at Stowe Lake. So Stowe Lake, Victorian era, this happens, and ever since she's just been wandering the park looking for her poor baby, which is terribly sad.
Wait, do they hear her, or does she like wail? Or
Yes, as far as I know, she's crying out for her baby. I don't know if she's saying a name or if she's just crying or like, but she is definitely looking for someone, and they think it's her baby. Yes.
Oh,
It's very sad.
that is so sad. They're all so tragic, like the stories that go along with these.
Super tragic. Like, even if,
I mean, as far as here goes, it's very tragic.
well, yeah, I mean, even like, oh, you're killed by your father or your husband. It's terrible.
Missing babies,
Yeah,
dead
that's really
babies.
sad. That's super sad.
So I have a real quick one. In Mexico, I don't know if you didn't read that one or didn't get that far down the list.
I did not do Mexico because I didn't.
So in Mexico, it is said that the woman in white in Mexico actually drowned her children in the river.
What?
And yeah, and now she sits by the side of the river and like cries and like mourns and wails and, and tries to lure children. And if they come in contact with
What?
her, they drown in the river.
That's so freaky. Because I
Yeah.
read
So
another
that
Mexico one, but I didn't read that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's from Mexico, and it is a woman in white by the river, and
Yes.
they caution their children not to go near a woman in white crying by the river because she will drown them.
So from everything that I've read or heard, the lady in white, the women in white, whatever are called, are fairly I don't want to say mean or whatever. Maybe they're just mischievous, but I think they definitely want people to suffer like they have suffered. So they either
Right.
lure people or they just make people's lives unbearable or they try to lure children out of bed with the tale of money in a vault. I don't know. Cuz maybe that's what she was really doing, was trying to lure him away so she could have him forever. I don't know.
Right, like the white lady in Mexico,
Yeah, it's exact
the
because I
woman in
didn't
white from
know
Mexico.
about that, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, there's another one in California too, and I'm not sure if it's a lady in white or a lady in red. I can't exactly remember the story, but it actually was on um one of my ghost hunting things.
Yeah.
And it's I think I want to say it's in Santa Monica
Yeah.
in California at a hotel there that's very old. So, but I can't remember exactly the details surrounding this one.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it was interesting. I remember watching it a long time ago. It wasn't even on like maybe it wasn't even a ghost hunting show.
Yeah.
I think it was just one of those paranormal shows,
I
you
know.
know?
So they used to have those a lot before
Hmm.
it became really popular to be like a ghost hunter. They would just have shows where they would kind of similar to what we do, like the history and all these tragic things and then what people see now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the 31 days of Halloween. That was my always my favorite. Like the whole 31 days.
Yes. Dude, they
Like it
used
would be like locked in or locked down or something like that, and you have to go they go spend the night at a haunted place and
dude, they
like
used to
just
do
regular
such
people.
cool stuff.
Yes,
Now,
Most Haunted was one of my favorite.
I also loved that so much.
Yes, me too. Sorry, I'm still a little hoarse. I'm still
You got the Rona.
got the Rona.
You gotta go to work tomorrow.
Hmm.
Well,
But Lady in White, it's a good legend, a good lore. They're good ghost stories.
so what was so intriguing to me about it is that it literally spans centuries and every single like culture that you can think of. There is something very similar around the whole world.
Right.
Like that's what's weird to me. It makes
I
me
don't know. So it lends credence to the whole lore, I believe.
well, I was just going to say it makes me wonder like do all these people really are making this up or is this something that is really happening all over the place? Cuz I kind of lean towards it's obviously really happening. Like,
That's where I'm leaning also. Like it's something that actually occurs because I mean, why would somebody in the Philippines, unless I mean, I don't even know because like unless they're in the Netherlands or in England, and then they go home to the Philippines and they're like, "Oh, this is a good story I'm gonna have here."
right.
But they're so far apart and they're so different cultures. Like, there's no reason for them to submerge their own culture in somebody else's culture. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, and apparently so the Philippines specifically they actually have a name for them there. So I don't think that they took them from like a different culture, they heard the story somewhere. I think that that's actually one of their legends, like which is crazy.
Right. It is, but I like it. It's so good.
I think it's true.
I think it's true also.
Maybe I hope it's true. I don't know. I hope a lot of stuff is true
Me too.
that I've never seen evidence of. But
I know. I
and
know.
it's
But
so
it would be
funny.
awesome.
It's so funny when we're talking about those shows. I remember being like, I was like 16 or something, and I was home alone. And I was watching one of those shows, and I don't know if you remember when John bought Jacob that weird three-wheeled like scooter, or like, like where you stand on it like this and you have to like move
Yeah.
back and forth. Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
we had that, and it was like leaning up against the wall behind the door, like the front door. And I'm watching one of these shows, and it's super freaky and it's super intense, and all of a sudden that thing like falls straight down onto the floor and scares the shit out of me. And I think at that moment I swore that I was never gonna watch another scary thing by myself, which was not ever true, because then I went on to watch tons of scary things by myself, which I shouldn't have. But I wish I knew what show it was, because it was so scary and I was like so intense into it, and I'm like, I love this, and then I was terrified after that. So
Did you shut it off and go to your room?
no, I went in Mom's room and watched Lord of the Rings.
How
That's
funny.
exactly what I remember happening. I slept with my mommy. Okay.
You know, when you were talking about this, I remember, do you remember when we were kids that, because in Denver they have the Keebler factory?
Yes.
Do you remember our parents telling us that
Okay, listen. Our
the
parents are
elf tree was
bastards.
there?
They're bastards, Tristan. It's so funny because
And I seriously was like 13 years old before I figured out that
I
that is
was
not true.
so I listen. I'm not gonna lie. I still secretly hope that it's true. Like,
Right. It's just that the Keebler elves are in there making cookies.
it's
They
so
have
fun.
their like tree inside the factory. And they always, every time we drove by there, they promised us that we would go see
Yes.
the
Why do
tree.
they keep promising us? They're jerks, man.
I don't know, but I was like 13 and I finally figured it out. Like 13, I'm like, come on. And I finally figured out that the Keebler elves were not in the factory living in their tree.
That makes me
And I
sad.
was pissed. I was pissed off.
Yes. I'm so upset when I think about it. I'm more upset that they like told us that for like years and years and years. It's so funny because I like this page, and it's so you're from Denver when, or something like that, and it's like somebody posted like, do you remember the Keebler Elf Factory? Because I don't think it's open anymore. And I, of course, wrote on there the little story of that. And then Mom's like commenting, like laughing hysterically, like, yeah, I remember telling you that. And I'm like, you're a jerk, man. Like, you traumatized me.
Right, because we thought for so long that there was really Keebler elves living in their tree in the freaking factory.
Yes, I still think that's true. I don't care what anybody says. There's still a tree behind the Keebler factory with the elves in it, okay? I don't care.
It's it's hilarious now though, but I was so mad when I figured it out. I'm like, what the hell?
Why would you tell your kids that? Like,
But some of like there was some part in when you were running through the lore that reminded me of the Keebler elf factory. Like, oh, it makes me
bastards.
mad.
Thanks a lot, Mom.
Bastardos.
I'm sure she'll
Calling you
watch
out.
this. Yeah, I'm sure she'll
Calling you
watch
out.
this. And then she likes to comment on our videos. What's up, you liar? Just joking, kind of. Anywho. Oh,
Yes.
gosh.
It was a very good one. I love lore. Lore is some of my favorite
So
to talk about.
I'm sad because as I'm reading through it, I'm keep thinking like, God, why didn't I do like a follow up on that where there was like eyewitness accounts? But then I'm like, well, the whole thing is basically the lore of the Lady in White,
Right.
and
Right.
just how it's so widespread. But maybe we'll do something else where we have more like eyewitness stuff to the
like
lady in white.
accounts. Yeah, like the accounts of the white lady.
Yes, because it would have taken a lot longer if I was actually doing actual. Because I wanted to get like all the places that had all these stories of the white lady. Like,
And there's
it's
so
very
many,
hard.
it's so
There's
widespread.
so many. I actually didn't do a bunch of them because there's so many. Like, there's just so
Right.
many. Like Spain and Italy and just all over the dang place. Like, it's
All
crazy.
over the world. It is crazy. That's a lot.
It is a lot. And it's true.
It
And
is a
it's real.
lot.
And if you disagree,
I
I
I'm
don't
gonna
care.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Like, I'm gonna say that the consensus is that it is real because there's just so much going on
Yes.
all over the place. Like, so many accounts of it and so many legends, and all these countries have our own names for her. And so, I mean, I'm gonna go with you on this one, and I'm gonna say this is real.
Fact checked. Just kidding. I don't know that
That's
our
what that's what sucks about the paranormal field, though, is because it's so hard to fact check anything.
yeah, you can't fact check it. I mean, you either believe people or you think people are straight up lying all the time. So and not just
Or you think
certain
they're
people,
crazy.
like a lot of people are lying, which or they're crazy. I don't it's weird because I don't think that people that lie about this sort of stuff are crazy. I think they're just liars and they would like to I don't know, either drum up more business for their thing or they're just, those types of people that like to fake things that aren't real. But oh Lord,
I agree. Anyway, it was a good episode.
it was okay.
I love, I love me a lady in white lore.
Me too. Now I see crazy people walking outside. All right.
They're
And
not wearing white, are they?
no, he was wearing black and it was a guy. So
Okay.
what's a guy? So um I love that commercial. He's a guy, so. Anywho, if you like this, if you like all of our other videos, make sure you're liking, of course, subscribing, telling other people. Follow
Yes.
us on all of our, what's it called? Social media. Because
Yes. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
we're fun.
Email us your guys' scary stories.
Dude,
We are fun.
come on. I am literally begging anyone to email me a scary story, please. Tristan, you have
Yes.
to agree with me. I'm begging you.
I do. I do because I love nothing more than a first-hand account, man.
Me too. Almost everything I read is third hand accounts and historical because a lot of stuff we do
Somebody wrote a
is
book or
right.
somebody wrote this paper or yeah.
We need first hand accounts. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. And Tristan's getting haunted by something, obviously, so
My cat,
oh, okay.
one of my
And
cats.
make sure, if you don't want to watch our whole video, listen to our podcast because you don't have to
Yes.
see this and this. Okay, you can just listen. It's fine. We're not sticklers for us being seen. I actually hate being on video, which is astonishing that I'm doing this, honestly.
Right. Well, and I don't also like being on video. It's not my favorite platform. But
No.
we have a lot of fun doing this, and we get to see each other because we
So
don't live
that is
close.
my number one thing is that it's a video chat more than anything. So,
Right.
but we
Yeah.
are going to keep doing this, of course, and we want you to support us. So please do that. And I don't know.
You guys can find us anywhere podcasts are found, except for Apple.
Anywhere. We're not going to even go